All right, man, like Raspect, Fyabinghi, where I going from?
I'm there.
Yeah, glad to finally have man in the place still.
Humbled to be here, my brother. Humbled to be here.
Man's one of the most requested people to come on this interview thing, so.
Yeah, love, man. Love to everyone showing love. Everyone, man. And even the haters too, cause like I said to them, I ain't got no hate to give you back. For your hate, so I give you love as well, you know what I'm saying?
Large. That's a good philosophy still. But yeah, we're gonna jump into it still. One of the questions that I was getting back the most from enough different people, so I ain't even gonna list it as like an individual question. And it's questions I have for myself as well. When it comes to how you define yourself, cause enough people wanna attach labels to man, innit?
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding is that the label doesn't always give an accurate definition of what the substance is.
Yeah.
So I would say it's better for you to describe the ingredients of the individual rather than just put a label and say, this is what I am.
100%.
You get me?
100%.
So how would you define yourself?
Well, the first way I define myself is I am that I am. And in a sense, that's just Rastafari. You understand? Now, Rastafari is my way of life. There's never going to be no swaying on that. I'm going to read a little speech of His Imperial Majesty, one of the speeches that, brought me to Rastafari. Now, Rastafari was about black people in the diaspora understanding where and what they came from in Africa. We have many civilizations in Africa, from down in Zimbabwe to up to the Mali Empire, you understand? But one of the prominent civilizations that, etched their legacy in the stone of time itself was our people in Kemet, what some now call Egypt. Now the people of Kemet, they told you where they came from, and they said they came out of Kush. Anyone who studies Kemet will tell you that the people of Kemet said they came out of Kush. They didn't say they came out of Libya. They didn't say they came out of Jerusalem, Saudi Arabia. They didn't say they came out of Spain. They didn't say they came out of China or America or England. They said they came out of Kush, which is Ethiopia, Abyssinia. So I am a Kushite, because the people of Kemet came from Kush, and Rastafari deals with Ethiopia. And Kemet being Kush is like the spiritual base, and Kemet was like the mental. It's like, if from Ethiopia, when they went up to Sudan, there's more pyramids in Sudan than there is actually in Egypt. And you can see the actual building process that our people went through when going through Sudan, and it's like they mastered it in Kemet. So Kemet is very important, especially if you're talking about what we built physically, but Kush is a spiritual core of that. So let's start with Rastafari, and then I'm going to go into some Kemetic spiritual philosophies as well. But let's start with Rastafari. His Imperial Majesty himself. And this, when you talk about this as Rastafari, everyone who calls Rastafari has to adhere to these words. You understand? So the temple of the Most High begins with the human body. So you hear people saying your body is a temple. That's one of the scriptures. Your body is a temple of the Most High. You understand? So it says the temple of the Most High begins with the human body, which houses our life, essence of our existence. Africans are in bondage today because they approach spirituality through religion provided by foreign invaders and conquerors. We must stop confusing religion and spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans which were supposed to help them grow spiritually. Due to human imperfection, religion has become corrupt, political, divisive, and a tool for the power struggle. Spirituality is not theology or ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original as was given by the Most High. Spirituality is a network linking us to the Most High, the universe, and each other. As the essence of our existence, it embodies our culture, true identity, nationhood, and destiny. A people without a nation they can call their own is a people without a soul. Africa is our nation and is in spiritual and physical bondage because her leaders are turning to outside forces for solutions to African problems when everything Africa needs is within her. When African righteous people come together, the world will come together. This is our divine destiny. Yeah, and I fully back those words 100%. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at like Yahshua, who they call Jesus, he was spiritual before the religion was created. You know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You understand? He was spiritual before the religion was created in the form that they see it today. You know, Bilal, spiritual. You understand? If you look at, you know, His Imperial Majesty, spiritual. You know, but you can even go to, you know, Buddha, you know, the Guru Nanak. You understand? You can go and you can see these people are spiritual people. You know what I'm saying? The religion came after the spiritual being, and the religion is there to help guide you. For example, my Muslim brothers, Ramadan's there to remind them. So during Ramadan, you're meant to be praying, you're meant to be fasting, you're meant to be getting closer to God, but it's like it's a time that's been set. So just in case, like, you know, you got caught in the world, there's now a specific time for you to get closer to God. That's a positive thing. You understand? So I'm not saying that religion doesn't have positives, but I'm saying the way that religion is being used, and even Muslims can tell you, you understand, Christians can tell you, you understand that there's people who use their religion for political causes, yeah? So, but I deal with it as an individual. Spirituality is at the core of that. We connect with each other, that's why do you think a Christian can like get on with a Muslim? And that Muslim doesn't really get on with a lot of their Muslim people, and that Christian doesn't really get along with their Christian, because the spiritual connection, you understand, it's a spiritual connection that allows us to be able to connect beyond the religions and labels that we give to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to ask you about that still in terms of, cause even a tune where you're done, where you say, as it go, no man, the Prophet said, no man is
better accepting piety.
Yeah, so it's a thing of, regardless of what man's saying they are your actions get carried out defines who you really are.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, so that's the feeling I'm getting. So, in that sense, what is Rasta liberty?
Okay, so Rasta liberty, yeah, is natural first. So we believe that it's the original way of life. The reason why we grow our hair, you understand, is because the first man didn't have no comb and scissors. So when you're looking at Rasta, you understand, you're looking at man in his natural form. Enough people are afraid of the dreads, you understand? Because it's like looking at yourself in the mirror, you understand? Now, even if you go back to the Bible in the Nazarite vow, you understand, the people that were separated just for God, you understand, all of them, you know, they didn't cut their hair, and all of them was, you know, vegans, you know, they was ital, you know, they wasn't meant to eat nothing with no blood, you understand? So that was the law of that was in the law of Moses. That's a Nazarite vow in the Bible, you understand? But even if you think about the original man, even if you take the Bible out of it, the first man didn't have no comb or scissors, you understand? And the first man probably didn't have an inclination, you know what I'm saying, to kill no animal and, you know, eat it. He probably would have picked an apple or a pear, you know what I'm saying? Even human beings were eating a lot more meat than we used to. You understand? Can't imagine if you're a farmer and you got 5 chickens, you can't eat chicken every day. You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't have no chickens left after 5 days. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, ancient cultures were, a lot of them were very, you know, vegan. And even if you look at like the Jewish culture and like the 7-day Adventists, and even certain Muslims will tell you that you're not meant to eat too much meat. You know what I'm saying? But Rasta, they just bun it all. You understand? Don't get it twisted. There's Rastas. No Rasta don't eat pork. But you have Rastas that eat chicken, Rastas that eat meat, because Babylon's a mad place, you understand? But no Rasta can't promote that as part of Rasta liberty.
So if anyone Rasta and they do that, they know it's a fault.
That they know that's a fault, and they know they gotta just keep on working on it.
Okay.
You understand? But within Rasta, they do, like for example me, you understand? I know that I'm trying to get to a place where, you know, I'm in the motherland and I've got my fresh things growing, and, you know, man's eating full ital alkaline Dr. Sebi diet. That's where I'm trying to get to, but that's not where I'm at now. You understand? So it's like, that's a reality. Because we're in a Babylon still, and it's not always easy. You know what I'm saying? But we just gotta keep the trod. But so that's one part of Rasta liberty. Rasta liberty, we deal with the Psalms and the Proverbs a lot. A lot of the elders, they dealt with the Psalms and the Proverbs a lot. You understand? So yeah, Rasta liberty is just about being righteous. It's just about being righteous. Even you have Rastas that don't have locks. You have Rastas that don't blaze herb.
So when you say being righteous, how do you find what is righteous?
Well, I say like righteousness is when you're doing what you know to be right.
Within your own heart?
Yeah, within your own heart. Because like some people say, how do people know what's right? But I maybe, like, because this is where the inferior superior thing comes in. Because I personally believe that every human being knows in their heart what's right or wrong. I just believe that influences and situations can make someone do the wrong thing with a lack of education. But there's people that believe that, you know, certain human beings can't make that decision for themselves. And if there are these sort of human beings, then that would make them inferior to I and I. Because I and I knows in my heart, I always know what's right or wrong. Even if I do the wrong thing, I know that it's wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I personally believe that everyone, you know what I'm saying, has that inside them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But there's a next speech still.
Come on, the speech, man, drop it.
Because they basically, a lot of this, people asking about the race thing, you get me? This is where Rastafari stands on race. Yeah, and we're not moving either. Yeah? So that's it. I said, to those who will learn this further lesson, that until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. Me say war. Yeah? That until there are no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no more significant than the color of his eyes, everywhere is war. Me say war. Until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, this a war. A me say war. That until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship, ruler of international morality, will remain in but a fleeting illusion, to be pursued but never attained. Everywhere is war. War. Until the ignoble and unhappy regimes that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique, South Africa, subhuman bondage have been toppled, utterly destroyed, well, everywhere is war. Me say war. War in the east, war in the west, war up north, war down south. War, war, war. Rumors of a war. And until that day, the African continent will not know peace. We Africans will fight. We find it necessary and know that we shall win because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. Yeah? Good over evil. Good over evil. Good over evil. So that's Rastafari. Yeah? That's one of his most famous speeches. Yeah.
On the subject of Rastafari, the man himself, what does it mean to Rasta? What does Rastafari, Haile Selassie, mean to Rasta?
Yeah, Rastafari is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering lion in the tribe of Judah, elect of himself, you know, light of the world. You know what I'm saying? That's the title that was given to him. I didn't give it to him. Some people don't believe in it. Some people do. The people that do call him Rastafari. And we believe that Selassie was had a sense of divinity. You understand? He was Christ in his kingly character. You understand? So this man in the Bible that was reading about, that was righteous, we believe that Selassie carried that essence, because Christ means anointed one. And we believe that His Imperial Majesty was the anointed one of that time. You understand? Remember, this is the first man to fight against, this is the first man to fight against slavery and, fight for African redemption. You know what I'm saying? Ethiopia was the only place not colonized. You know what I'm saying? So, and Ethiopia, they supported Kwame Nkrumah, which was the first African country to gain their independence. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, His Imperial Majesty, the first airport, His Imperial Majesty first airport in Africa was put there by His Imperial Majesty, So, yeah, we just believe that Selassie was the best example, you understand, for us, you know what I'm saying, to follow. And we believe that if the whole of mankind was to, even if they wasn't to be Rastafari, if they was just to research the teachings of the King, you know what I'm saying, and apply what they believe to be good and right, we believe the world would be a better place,
And do all Rasta look at Rastafari the same way?
100%.
You mean the same to all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rastafari is, yeah, he's the King of Kings to everyone. Every Rasta will say His Imperial Majesty is the King of Kings. Every Rasta will say His Imperial Majesty is Christ in his kingly character.
But do they assign a divinity to him as well, though? Because,
100%.
Man, listen to Muta Baruka as well, innit?
Yeah.
And one time I heard him say something in regards to Rastafari that how it come about. I think it was on Religious Art Talk or one of them showed it. Mm-hmm. He said how Rastafari, the movement, come about is that the black people was being oppressed and they was made to feel like that their own self is insignificant and they are downtrodden people. So it was at a time where the Black Power movement was building up momentum in the Western world, and they was able to look into scripture and find examples of that should be emulated from black people when all their life they've been told that they ain't nothing.
100%.
So man gravitated towards that, and when they saw the crowning of Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, it meant something so much to them. So Rasta was born out of that. So his argument, I might be misinterpreting it still, but his argument was not all Rasta necessarily believe that Haile Selassie is divine, like of the gods, but his personal example is what some Rasta is striving to emulate. I don't know if he was considering himself in that sense as well.
Well, Muta Baruka, he's the first one that, like, he made a lot of religious people upset, because he's the first one to ban God, innit?
Okay.
Yeah, he banned the concept.
Yeah.
He banned the God concept, and he said, he just says His Imperial Majesty. You understand? So he's basically on the far end.
Yeah.
You understand? Of saying, His Imperial Majesty is the full divinity. There's nothing else. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Muta Baruka's stance still. It's been it for a little while still. And I like Muta Baruka, he'll put, like, there's two ways to put stuff in it. Yeah, and he'll put it in a way where sometimes some people, if you're deep in their religion, you get me, you might not understand what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? You might feel like it's blasphemy, because this guy just won God and he's saying His Imperial Majesty. Now what I'm saying is, what he's banning is the concept of God, this man in the sky that tells everyone what to do.
Okay.
You understand? And he's saying basically the example, if man just followed His Imperial Majesty, man would be a lot better off, you understand, than following these different concepts of righteousness, because we don't know His Imperial Majesty. He's saying we can verify Him. You understand? His Imperial Majesty is a fact. You know how some of these, you know, a lot of Moses and all these people, it's hard for, you know, some atheists to say, how do you know he existed?
Yeah.
You know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Yahshua, peace be upon him, people say, how do you know they existed? His Imperial Majesty, we know he existed. And we know what he done. You understand? So, yeah, Mutabaruka, he's definitely, but you can't hail Rastafari without seeing the divinity of his Imperial Majesty. That's definitely, yeah, I've never met a Rasta that denies the divinity of his Imperial Majesty.
Okay. All right then. Yeah, so maybe I had the thing confused and still. What you said made sense to me then, whereas it's the concept of God.
Yeah,
because even when I ask enough people, when enough people come up to me and ask me what I believe in, innit?
Yeah.
And they say if I believe in God, and whenever I question them back, cause I want to be sure of the question before I give them my answer, innit? Mm-hmm. What do you mean when you say God? I don't never get a consistent answer from person to person. So and like you said, it's always their own concept based upon what their religious book, what they're following teaches them.
And even their interpretation.
Well, there you go.
You get 5 Muslims in the room with 5 different interpretations. You get 5 Christians in the room with 5 different interpretations. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's not even just the religion or even what the religion's teaching, but then there's an interpretation that is even added onto that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's where the confusion comes in still. So if man's looking out against that, I can see the sense in that still.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, now religious scriptures now, all of the different religious books that's out there. What significance do they play within you personally?
Okay, so I've read the Bible from start to finish. You know, the Psalms and the Proverbs are 2 of my favorite books in the world. Most Rastas deal with the Psalms and the Proverbs. You know, like, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And deliver us not into, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. You get me? For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. You get me? Amen. And Rasta will say, for thine is the kingdom of Ethiopia, the power of the Holy Trinity, and the glory of Rastafari.
Yeah.
You know?
So you say Rasta interpreted their own way?
Yeah, so they said, our Father who art in heart in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So, like, when we saw the kingdom of Ethiopia stand against colonialism, you understand? We saw that, you know what I'm saying? And you judge a tree by its fruits, you know? So if you really study Rastafari, the fruits that has come out of this movement, you know, they gave birth to the reggae, the sound reggae, which is probably the most positive vibrating sound on the planet. And what did reggae give birth to? Hip hop. And what did hip hop give birth to? Rap. You get me? Trump and all of that. What did that crunk and all of that? What did that give birth to? Grime. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Rastafari has had as imperative, you know what I'm saying, role on humanity. And, you know, my Muslim brothers will always say, yeah, Islam is the fastest growing religion. My Christian brothers will always say, yeah, Christianity is a big religion. But I have to show them, if you look at the history, yeah, it's the fastest growing religions, but you have to at least add that there was some sort of colonialism and an invading and war and bloodshed during that process. You understand?
So you're saying it wouldn't necessarily have spread so fast if it wasn't for...
Well, we don't know, innit?
These violent and atrocious...
It might. I personally think Islam and Christianity would have spread... It might not have spread as far, but it would have spread a lot better if it didn't spread with war. Okay. You understand? Because then they wouldn't have that history that people call on. You understand? Yeah. But Rastafari has spread to all parts of the globe. And, you know, we was oppressed at the beginning. They used to hold us down and cut off our locks. You understand? My brethren's dad, yeah, Jabones, yeah, he's the one that fought in England, because when we used to get arrested in England as a Rasta man, they used to chop our locks when we went to jail. Yeah? And it was my brethren's dad, Jabones, that took the UK, the government, to court, and he won the court case.
Yeah.
And after that, they couldn't trim no Rastas natty when they got arrested.
When did that happen?
That would have been a good 30 years ago. You
Yeah.
understand? Yeah, Job Bones. You know what I'm saying? My brethren's dad. You understand? One of the main Rastas had an organization called RUZ. You get me? And they had their own building. It was when Rasta was big in England. Like when we was at our peak, we had buildings and settings, and there was a Rasta house them times, and yeah, the thing was proper. You understand? So when you're looking at Rastas spread peacefully all over. You understand? And people from all faiths respect Rasta, you know, and people from all places. You know what I'm saying? Because I get love from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter what person's faith is. That's why I can't deal with the labels. You know what I'm saying? Because man's getting love from everywhere, regardless of the label. Man's getting love. You know what I'm saying? So man's giving back love.
All right then. So what about the other religious books now? 'Cause I know I hear enough Rasta quote Bible scriptures and things like that, but I don't necessarily hear so much other ones. So what specifically significance does the Bible play to Rasta? Cause man would have said, how come man ain't just a Christian if it's just the Bible alone you're reading?
Yeah, because Rasta is life, innit? Mutabaruka will tell you that, and it's about your own experiences. Like it's not really based upon the Bible. Like Selassie I said in the thing, innit? The Bible can help guide your spirituality. It can help fuel your spirituality, but you have to be seeing the Bible through the right spectacles. You understand? So Rasta, you have to understand that through the Nazarite vow, Rasta's got the locks and the italivity. Yeah. Through hearing herb is the healing, and the herb was given to the service of man in the Bible, the Rastas came to the conclusion that herb must be good. Yeah. From Revelations, he had skin like bronze in a furnace and hair like wool. They came to the conclusion that the Christ must have been from African descent. You understand? So the Bible played such a vital role, like the sciences that Rasta realized. Because remember, Rasta said herb is the healing and was using ganja from time, and they said it was the most evil thing on the planet. Said it's worse than crack cocaine, my brother. While they were selling man cigarettes, and now they got medical marijuana. You understand? So Rasta literally out of their inner spirituality first, and them having that core first, reading the Bible through those lenses, you understand, they was able to see amazing things like what Marcus Garvey said. He said, we're gonna look at the Bible through Ethiopian spectacles. You understand? So yeah, if you look at all of our ancestors, there's a way they dealt with the thing. But with the Bible, I would say I'm gonna have to take you back to Kemet and the Kemetic tree of life. Yeah, because this is like one of the cores of my spiritual systems. Yeah, and then after that, when I read the Bible, when I read the Quran, if I read the Bhagavad Gita, if I read some of the sayings of the gurus, you understand, it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm looking at it through a lens that is, spiritually at one. You know what I'm saying? So I'll read you the thing them still. There's a whole book on it, my brother Ra Nefa, you get me? He's got a book called Kemetic Tree of Life, where he breaks it all down. But this is just a short little thing. So the law of Amen, because in Islam you have 99 names of God. Yeah. In Kemet, it was similar. We had we could say 99 principles. Okay. So when you hear Amen and Osset and all of these things, these were principles that we was trying to use to understand the Most High, and understanding the Most High, understand our spirituality, and understanding our spirituality, understanding ourselves. You understand? So the law of Amen is you were made in the likeness of a peace that nothing can disturb. Reclaim your peace that you may attain to your reason for coming to existence, the enjoyment of life. So that's the first law. The reason why we came here is to enjoy life. Just because we're spiritual, just because we're religious, doesn't mean we can't enjoy life. Doesn't mean we can't link up with friends. Doesn't mean we can't be happy. Doesn't mean we can't have fun. You understand? It just doesn't mean that we have to do things that, would defile ourselves in order to have that fun. You know what I'm saying? Law of Azar. Your nature is an unconquerable peace. Therefore, nothing or no one in the world can be against you. All experiences come to you to promote your reclamation of peace, that you may in turn acquire wisdom and power. So what that basically is saying is, all the situations that come to you, are coming to you for you to know yourself. So say if someone came at you and they were shouting and that, what the way you should be looking at that is, how do you deal with the situation instead of allowing the person to take you out of your peace. You understand? It's about controlling those elements. The law of Tahuti, when all your thoughts, feelings and actions reflect the word of God and the power of God's spirit, a peace that nothing can change will flow through your being. Yeah? So these are some righteous principles. Law of Seka, when the emotions of man manifest in response to the word of God, they have the power to influence the course of any and all events in the world. So what it's talking about is your emotions balanced with the word of God. So like that passion, yeah, but it's when it's balanced with truth. So you got man like Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, you know, Martin Luther King. All three of them, their emotions were based upon their truth. That's why they were so powerful and able to touch so many people in the world. Law of Ma'at, God needs you in order to come into the world. Fulfilling God's need is the highest act of love, and only through your love for God can you fulfill your love for others. Become the love of God in the world for the protection of the world. That's the law of Ma'at, yeah? Law of Herakuti, know that God neither punishes, nor rewards, nor protects, and you will have the comfort of controlling these yourself. Yeah, these are divine laws, innit? So these are laws when you're ready to go to that spiritual place, like that Christ consciousness. Yeah, so God, like, you're controlling it. You know what I'm saying? Like, God doesn't punish or reward. Like, what you put out there is what's going to come back to you. You're going to sow what you reap. Law of Heru, you have the power, but not the right to ignore God's law. Choose to follow the law of God with love and joy that grows out of understanding, and the wisdom and power of God's spirit will flow through your being. Law of Heru, it is not what you imagine, it is who is imagining, a human or a divine being. So it's how you see yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Because our teachings teach us that we was created by a perfect creator. You understand? And we was created in the image and the likeness of a perfect creator. You understand? So from that's the case, you know what I'm saying? My Islamic teachings teach me that, you know, God told Shaitan to bow to man. Because he said, man, this is my greatest creation. That's what God said to Shaitan. And Shaitan was made of fire. So Shaitan said, nah, I'm not bowing to this guy. He's a waste man. You get me? He's not going to follow your law. He's not real. You understand? And God said, look, I'm going to prove it. You get me? And that's why we're here. And that's why, like, those negative energies are always coming at us. You understand? Because we're here to prove our strength. If you didn't go through anything, imagine if you was here and you didn't go through any negative, then you wouldn't know how strong you are. God wouldn't know how real you are. You understand? So this is why you're going through your struggles. This is why you're going through your tribulations. But the sun is going to rise. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your heart, you get me, pure and your hands clean. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when we're looking at this whole God concept, you know what I'm saying, and how, like, from an Islamic perspective, and we're looking at how, like, we were sent here and how the devil's just basically trying to prove us to be, you know, weak, you know what I'm saying? But if we look at it from that perspective, then we know that if God said that to the devil, and the devil was like the greatest angel made out of fire, then we must be divine in some way, shape or form when we're at our true nature. You know what I'm saying? So, so law of Sebek is not what you think or what you affirm, it is who is thinking and affirming. Are you a human or a divine being? Law of Aset, prepare to sacrifice everything to become the vessel of God on earth, and you will in turn receive everything. Yeah. And then the law of Geb, know that from heaven you came and to heaven you will return. Seek not enduring works on earth. Yeah. So that's the core of my spirituality. That's the spectacles that I'm putting it on. You understand? Along with my own, you know, conscience and my own heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting on those spectacles. And then now, when I'm reading the Bible, it's making sense. You know what I'm saying, G? When I'm reading the Bible now, it's making mad sense. Because I'm looking at it through them perspectives. When I'm reading the Quran now, it's making mad sense. Like, I love my Muslim brothers, but there's certain things they say sometimes that just throws me off. Not all of them, but some of them, they'll say like stuff like, I'm a slave to God. And I'll be like, yo, bro, like, especially as a black man, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like, that word slave hasn't got any positive connotations at all, G. You know what I'm saying? So, And in order for you to be a slave to God, it makes God a slave master. Because you can't have a slave without a slave master. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I understand servant, yeah, that word can more sit with me. But, like, I prefer personally, like, children. We're children of the Most High. You understand? And that's the spectacles I look at it through.
All right, then. I see Rastafari now. As you said, it never spread through no warfare or no bloodshed or nothing like that. So, for it to come from like a tiny little island like Jamaica and be so well known all over the world, how do you feel that it was even possible? What do you put that down to? 'Cause enough people know Rasta, like I said, all over the world, fam. And it's just, it got born out of like a little small, tiny island.
Small, tiny
you can't even see on a world map. If you're all out a world map, you have to put a microscope to see how big Jamaica is.
Trust me.
You know what I mean? So how that work?
Bro, this is one of the reasons why, like, you could call it a miracle. You know what I'm saying? Because these were some Rasta man, yeah? Remember, this is just after this, like, this is slavery periods. Like, this is racism rife. You know what I'm saying? So, like, these lot, not only were black people at the bottom of the food chain, yeah? But Rastas within Jamaican society was at the bottom of the food chain within Jamaica. Yeah. You understand? So Rastas were getting, they was getting killed. You understand? They was getting locked up in jail. They had to all go up to the hills, and they started a little, their own little civilization. You understand?
You're talking about Pinnacle?
Yeah, Leonard P. Howell set up Pinnacle. You understand? And the Rastas had a self-sufficient, you know what I'm saying, their own self-sufficient community running. You know what I'm saying? So to think that they came from that, you know what I'm saying, and now all over the world, you know what I'm saying, black people all over the world say Rastafari. No matter where you go in the world where black people is, you're gonna hear someone saying Rastafari. And then the next thing is, because remember, it's a black liberation movement. It had nothing to do with no white people, no Japanese people, no Indian people. In its inception, it had nothing to do with them. It was about us coming back to our culture. You understand? And even now, you see Rastaman in Europe, Rastaman in Japan. You understand? Like, people that are looking to Africa, they're not from Africa, you understand? Like they're not indigenous to Africa, but they've recognized the spirituality and the people that come from Africa through Rastafari, you understand? And through their own, Japanese spectacles or their own European spectacles, they're citing Rastafari, they're eating, some eating Ital food, and you know what I'm saying, in Japanese, they lick down a mad Fyabinghi drum. Fyabinghi drum's the main Rasta drum. If you type in Japanese Fyabinghi, them man there be singing the thing and you think Bob Marley's there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the core of Rastafari will always be, African. You know what I'm saying? That's like that's the base, you know what I'm saying? But the influence is international. Okay.
All right then, fam. Come again to some of your activism outside of the park. We're gonna get into the Speaker's Corner. That's where probably most people who's watching you on this platform here will know man from Speaker's Corner still. But before Speaker's Corner, and obviously currently to this day, you've been doing enough different activism outside of that still, so get into some of that. Cause I see recently, you came onto my channel and told me about the protest march what you was on to do with the Edson police custody murder, and before that, you was at the Grenfell Tower fire thing. So, go tell me about your activism.
So, like, let me give you a little bit of history. Like, I come from, like, a different background and consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in the ends just like everyone else, getting up to what man was getting up to. Don't need to go into that today. And basically, due to what was going on at the time, I was sent to Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? I've always had a sense of, love for my people and a sense of, love for social justice. You know what I'm saying? But I was never really active. But I went to Jamaica, and that's where, I cited Rastafari. It wasn't in England, it was in Jamaica. you know. But I met some really Rasta man from the hills. Yeah, and when them man they talk lightning strike and dogs start bark. So a real power man, like no lie, you know what I'm saying? So when I come back now, I came back with a next fire because I've seen stuff that youths in England have never seen. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, yo, why is Ras like that? Why is he? They don't understand. Man's seen some real spiritual powers, you know what I'm saying? So when I came back now, it's like the activism thing just happened naturally, you know what I'm saying? So I was always out there, like, first it started out like an international thing. I was in a group called Rebel Lions, you get me? White youth, these are just man from the ends, you get me? White youth, mixed race youth, black youths, you get me? And it was all basically Rasta and basically fighting, you know, political injustice, you know what I'm saying? So we would go down to all the marches, you know what I'm saying, and all of them things there.
We say any type of injustice.
Any type of injustice, bro. Man's been on the, that's why you see like man can't try to chat to man in certain ways because man's been out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like, I've been at more Palestine marches, yeah, than your average Palestinian, you get me? Back then, I was at every march, whether it was cuts, Palestine, like, socialist party, like, I was just kind of lost, like, you know what I'm saying? Not lost, but I was just everywhere, like, you know what I'm saying? And we was building up, like, we used to, like, there used to be, like, integrated movements where, like, black, Asian, white, and we used to try and, like, we used to go and, like, get food from Spitalfields and then, like, take it to people without food and re-te-te. Nah, along the line, the time changer for me is when Mark Duggan got killed. Yeah, when Mark Duggan got killed, nah, it was, like, a lot of, like, my brethren who was in the thing with man, like, and man had been to marches with these man and that. It's like they weren't really backing the thing like that, you know what I'm saying? And then I went to one meeting called INAP, National African People's Parliament. And it was like their elders got together and, you know, they was fighting for the youths, you know what I'm saying? And then that's how I got into, like, the whole, like, black activism. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the community now, you know what I'm saying? I started linking up with people from the community and that, you know what I'm saying? I still had my links from before, but I started linking up. And then, like, there's a point where I didn't want to rap. I didn't want to, because that's how it started, you know, G. You know how it started, the activism? It started because I was rapping. And every time I'm rapping, obviously I'm talking about social injustices, but I felt like a hypocrite. Because I said, I don't want to be one of these rappers that's always rapping about this thing and we're never hitting the roads, cuz. Like, we ain't ever doing nothing.
So you're saying, so even when you wanted to be a rapper, so you never started off just rapping bare fuckery, talking about anything?
Nah, you know, I'm a lucky you because...
So you always had a consciousness?
The first time, yeah, imagine one of the first times I met my popsy, yeah. My popsy took man to his yard, yeah. And man had bare bars, like grind bars. I'm a warlord son, when I draw for the gun, you're sure to run. All of them bars there, you get me? And Popsy said, nah man, that's slackness, cause the Rasta man all what gone, you get me? So he said, that's slackness, man. Spit something that's like conscious, you get me? But true, I'm a warrior, I had a problem cause I can't spit about daffodils.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, ponies, and so I didn't know what he wanted me to spit about, but then I wrote one bar and I was, what? It's eliminate war, eliminate violence, eliminate war. Trying to fight for the right kind of laws, like sing for the rich and sing for the poor. What? That's my first bar, bro. It was about 10 when I wrote it.
Alright.
Yeah, so I had that as a foundation. You know what I'm saying? So even though I still went into the road thing, I always had a core that kind of took me back to some sense of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would never lie. Like, I would never say, like, I've shot 10 man. You get me? I'd rather say, yo, Remy made me hold the thing, and then Eddie got clapped. Like, I'll tell a true story. I'm not telling all lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not into the fabrication. And obviously, I know that the reason why man do it because obviously the industry, the people want to hear what they want to hear. Yeah. But I'm more looking at the way it's affecting the people. Okay. You know what I'm saying, personally, and that's my personal judgment on me. It's not for anyone else to take up still.
Yeah, cool, man. So let's go to the park now. Still, Speaker's Corner. Like I said, that's where most of the audience there who's watching this thing know you from. And what brought you to the park in the first place?
Okay, so obviously I'm an activist, innit? So, like, man. Like, activism has gone from far from chasing out EDL. You know, when I linked Power Sis and they brought over Umar Johnson, I've linked Astra Crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I bang on the activism thing. Always like, even like I get woken up in the middle of the night sometimes because of mum's son's going out in some gang thing, and I've got like, ask my Empress, I've got to go down and meet youths, and like I'm always on call in it, you know what I'm saying? Like anything to do with like my people, you know what I'm saying? I'm always out there, you know what I'm saying? And I stand against any injustice against anyone. But like, I'm an activist, you know what I'm saying? An active activist within my community, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So I basically heard that some Muslims was looking to, you know, wanted a violent, they could have got into a violent altercation with some brother. That's all I knew. I didn't know, like these times I don't know Sarah in it. I just know it's a brother that debates in the park sometimes, and like, he's having altercations with some Muslim brothers, you understand? So I've said, all right, cool, let me come down there and see what I've got in it. You know what I'm saying? Cause man wanted to come Speaker's Corner and just see what I've got anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then like, so, and Gabs, that's my brethren. I knew Gabs from before. That's my link basically, innit? So Gabs is my brethren. Gabs is saying, I knew Gabs was going down there a little bit, you get me? So I hollered Gabs like, yo, yeah, boom, you get me? Like, yeah, man's gonna roll down there. So I come down there now, and then when I've come down there, the first week, Sarah's not there, innit? But that's the week when Mohammed was talking to Kalam about Sarah.
Don't lie, fam. You know that's the same day when I first come as well, fam.
See it there.
What?
See it there. No, the link up was real still, I can't lie. The trillest link up. But yeah, so Mohammed from Guidance Avenue, he's basically pissed with Sarah. That's the essence of the conversation which I can hear. Yeah. You get me? Obviously, I want to get involved and say, yo, like, can't this be resolved? But like, I wanted to observe what I want. You get me? I'm not into the chatty patty business. Yeah. So these times now, I said, I get some understanding of what I've got. You get me? What my man's problems is. You get me? I haven't really heard Sarah like that. And then we've done the research on Sarah. And then I realized, is this what this brother's saying? Oh. And then I've got phone calls from a couple of my Muslim brethren saying, yo, like, who's this Sarah? Like, yeah, like they want some passer, you get me? I'm telling them, man, calm down, fam. Like, obviously it's opinions, you know what I'm saying? Like, but obviously if you're a Muslim, like, you can understand why people would, you know, feel like it's, you know, like they'll feel like it's disrespectful. But the only thing I'll say to the Muslims is, like, you have to understand that you've got a lot of Muslims in the Speaker's Corner, and they're talking exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't just look at Sarah, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at Sarah, there's a lot of truth in what the brother says. You can't, even if you don't like the packaging, you might not like the packaging, you understand? And you might not even like everything inside it. But when he speaks on stuff like, you know, belief and knowing, like, he's correct. You can't really debate him where that comes to, because we've got to know the difference between belief and knowledge. That's true. You know what I'm saying? So these times now, I've said, I want peace, innit? I don't want no war in the park, innit? I want peace, innit? So I've come down there to back a brother, but obviously I'm a brother that deals with peace, innit? You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in war, and ain't nothing nice in war, you understand? So man only war when we need to war, you understand? You're backed up against the wall, then that's when you war, you get me? Like, I've read the Art of War, and the Art of War says the greatest warrior is the one who doesn't get into the war. You know what I'm saying? That's the best warrior, the one who doesn't even get into the war. So, like, that's what I'm on, innit? You know? And I'm a real warrior. Don't get it twisted. Like if you're talking about this fighting for our people, bro, man's been out there. Like, I'm telling you, I've chased down EDL from Tower Hamlets before, all around the block. You understand? And I can't even tell you other things I've done, but I've fought for ionized people many times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, fighting's nothing. I like fighting. Like, even if I lose or win, even when I got rushed, I would feel good afterwards, because I'm cut from that cloth, like a warrior cloth. So it's not really a problem fighting and that. It's just the whole reality of war and the bloodshed and the loss and all of them things there. That's what I'm more thinking about, not really myself. But anyway, so I've come down there now, so I'm trying to see if there's a way for peace in it. So the first thing I'm saying to Sarah is, yo, if you could tone that down just a little bit, like let's just try to have a respectful conversation. You understand? And don't get it twisted. I show Sarah you've got to take the higher moral ground, because what happened with Sarah, from what I've seen, is everyone's talking crud, and he's just talking out there talking. However, whoever he's debating is talking. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever's in the comments is talking. He's just talking the same way they're talking. So it's like fire with fire. You understand? But I said to him that, true, we're coming with this Kemetic philosophy and we're coming with this African spirituality, that we should take the higher moral ground and not even stoop to anyone's, you get me, levels, you get me, of engagement. You know what I'm saying? And I said the same thing to my Muslim brothers, because don't get it twisted, like, I'm not a guy that will go to Sarah and say, yeah, they're Muslims. Anytime I'm speaking to Sarah, I'm saying, nah, but I know that Muslims are chill though, fam. And anytime I'm speaking to the Muslims, I'm saying, nah, but Sarah's making a lot of good points, fam. I'm not on no backbiting, talk behind. Everyone knows where I stand, and I don't care if no one likes it as well. I don't care. All the commenters, everyone from YouTube can off. Yeah, real talk, like, on that one, because I've got my real family around me, people that know, man, people that have seen me when I'm down, seen me when I'm up. Like, that's my core, innit? You understand? If I was to lose that, I was to lose everything. You understand? So everyone that's hating and that, man's not watching that. But I say to Sarah, you shouldn't let anyone bring you down to their levels. And I said to the Muslims that this was Ramadan, like, it's not even any time of the month. Like, these times, you man should be on some mad praying, mad spiritual thing. You're just ignoring anything that's going to take you out of that spiritual place. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's how I come down to the park. I come down to the park. Muhammad had his thing with Kalam, you get me? Then the next week, imagine this now, when you viewers are gonna like this one still, you get me? Remember when Sarah rolled up with the gang, you get me? I was meant to be there. How about that? I was meant to be there now. And then, like, I've rolled up late, and I've even made a couple other Kemet brothers roll down. Like, one of them had a debate with Shamsi, like, you might have seen them, you get me? So I've even told a couple G's, like, cause I can't lie, from the way Muhammad was going on, because I hadn't met Sarah yet, but from what I saw, Muhammad, the conversation between Muhammad and Kalam, I knew that there might be some sort of confrontation, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean when you say that, you mean what, physical?
The thing about the elements of what we're dealing with right now, is you see all the hostility in the air. The physical is just like one click of a finger away, bro. Man's been in these situations. That's why I'm trying to dissolve it. I'm trying to, like, kill it from now, because, like, when there's tension, all it's gonna take is one person to just have a bad day that day, or, you know what I'm saying, someone passed away, or, you know what I'm saying, they've got too much on them. It could be anyone from anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, the whole thing explodes. And when it explodes, it's gonna be hard to put it back in that box. Right now, we can, you get me? Because everyone can be cool, everyone can live their lives, and, you know what I'm saying? So I've come down, but I've come late. This is after the passes, and now you're interviewing Mohammed and Hussein. You get me? Yeah, these times I've just rolled up. You get me? So I've just rolled up. I'm trying to find out what once. I've even phoned, I've said, Kalam, like, because Sarah's gone now, innit? Because Sarah ducked out. So I've said, look, tell man to come back, fam. Because I still ain't met the youth. I don't know anything about the youth. I've come down to back the youth. And the youth's ducked out. So I've said to him, yo, Sarah, like, what go on, family, like, roll back. Like, Sarah will tell you. I said to him, roll back. He said, nah. Like, my brother's telling, man, you get me? Like, that's dead, you get me? So I said, all right, cool, we'll back up on the next one. You know what I'm saying? And then, and then from there, for about, like, these times, when I first went to Speaker's Corner, I was thinking all the Muslims are on some hostile thing. But then when I was reasoning with 1, 2, man, I realized, like, they're all different. You can't even judge all the Muslims at Speaker's Corner based upon one Muslim, because, like, there's so many different, like, personalities and philosophies. It's the same thing with Kemet, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't judge Gary based upon Sarah, or Sarah based upon Kalam, or Kalam based upon Gabs. They're all 4 individuals, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with Muslims. Muslims are individuals, you know what I'm saying? So then these times now, I kind of realized that it wasn't no big beef between Muslims and Kemets. It was really, from what I saw, Muhammad had a problem with Sarah, and he wanted to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't like what Sarah was saying. Now, Muhammad said that thing. Remember, Muhammad said about the, he had the clip. Muhammad saying there's a clip where Sarah saying dirty, effing Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't lie. When Muhammad first said that, yeah, me being a black man, innit? Like, I was thinking, that don't sound like our language. Like, we might say confused Muslim. You know what I'm saying? We might say, you know, a brainwashed Muslim, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I can't really see a lot of black men saying dirty effing Muslim. Like, that sounds like some like real Essex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some real Essex kind of language. I can't even see that in Sarah's vernacular. The way Sarah speaks, it don't really seem like Sarah's the kind of guy that's gonna really say, you know, dirty effing Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Now, I might have been wrong. You get me, Carl? I said from Muhammad, from Guidance Avenue, is so sure that he's got this footage with Sarah saying dirty effing Muslim, yeah, then when this footage comes out, then that's it, innit? Sarah said it, and you get me, I gotta put my hands up and say, yo, Sarah, that's wrong, fam. You can't be saying that, blood. You be sounding like some EDL. Yeah. You be sounding like Tony Robinson or whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? But so these times I'm waiting for that footage. Like, I was waiting for Muhammad's video, because once that footage came out, I would have been like, yo, because you know the Dawa channels, they got like 5-6 different cameras in it. So like, they must have captured it somewhere in it. So then these times now, when he said that he didn't have the footage, I stopped watching that interview still. Yeah.
You didn't watch the rest of it?
Well, I want to hear where the footage is, innit? And then, like, obviously I can't really be on the thing where one man's talking about a next man for an hour. Yeah. Okay, you're calling the next man a batty man, innit? Yeah, you're saying you love man, but you need to be saying Muhammad, peace be upon his name, more times in your interviews. Yeah. I feel like the Muslims at Speaker's Corner are too like obsessed with Sarah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like, that's taken away from their spirituality, but it's also showing that the Muslims that are behaving like this, they obviously, like, you only behave like that when you haven't got a good argument, innit? Because if you can reason something out and you really got a good argument, then boom, you're gonna go for that, you know what I'm saying? But I reckon, like I've said to Sarah bare times, you get me? I reckon Sarah can divulge his information in a way which is more respectful, but still pungent and to the point. Potent, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's up to him. It's got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I can only give a man advice. You get me? But he's got to live his life. But so yeah, I was a bit disappointed about that. I can't lie, because I was waiting for that footage to come out. You get me? But yeah, like I just feel like we just need peace at the park, and I feel like this whole Muslim Kemet beef is really Muhammad's problem is Sarah, and then like Muslims, he's basically, because he's a Muslim, like, and because Sarah is also, you know, discussing Islam, like the whole Muslims have kind of had to huddle around Muhammad, you get me, kind of thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Just, man, they're just backing their brother on one sense, you get me? But then there's a next sense where you might become the oppressor. If you get me, Carl, really and truly, you should be dealing with this with words. Speaker's Corner, innit? It's not, that's why when man are calling man out for fights and that, like, I'm not gonna lie, if man offer me out for any MMA fight, I'm telling you, we'll rock it right there. We'll just swing it out. Straight up, bro. Don't come offering man nothing like that, bro. So there's these little stuff, you get me? Like, our stuff that is not, we're not going to be able to be sincere while we're offering each other out for fights, because we're actually meant to be fighting with our minds. That's what it's about, innit? You go home on Sunday night, and then Monday to Friday you do research. Some people do research and they fill up their cup, and then they come Speaker's Corner full, you get me? And then they can't learn nothing, you get me? And there's some people that come half full and they manage to learn, but that's what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be fighting with your mind. So when man are going into physicalities, it's like, what is your mind, the power of your mind not enough anymore, bro? You know what I'm saying? And this ain't no diss to no one, you know, like, obviously, like, I wanted to see man before this, but man wasn't there last Speaker's Corner, and tell man what I was gonna say after I see the interview, you get me? Even I might see man before this comes out and tell man, because I'm true like that, you get me? I'm not trying to hide from no one. And I have to say, that time when that guy got the box at Speaker's Corner, When the guy held the box,
that?
it was Muhammad from Guidance Avenue that first came up to man, and it gave me some 1-2 wise words. You get me? So you get me? I haven't had any negative experience with this guy personally, innit?
Yeah.
But I do see the vendetta that he has with Sarah, and I do see that he just needs. I just feel like, bro, just get off of this, innit? Because there's an energy that you're creating that's got nothing to do with Islam.
Yeah.
And it's got more to do with our ego and, you know, who's got the biggest balls and, you know what I'm saying? It's got nothing to do with Islam and, you know, spirituality and, you know, praying and fasting and becoming a better person and submitting to the will of Allah. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Hey, still. Alright, cool, man. Going into some of the other, not even, I feel that was the major issue at Speaker's Corner that isn't like debate based. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's more like that's more like a street thing in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
You get me? So some of the other problems now, issues then, when it comes to debating now, the debate where I filmed with you and Mansour, what was your take on that debate there?
Yeah, Mansour, yeah. So, like, these man have got a script, some of these man anyway, they got a script in it. And they're just reading from their script in it, so you can't really down them in it, you know what I'm saying?
When you saying they got a script, what do you mean with their religion?
Yeah, there's a religious script, man. That man are reading from, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. One God, Muhammad was the last messenger. The Quran's unchanged. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that whole script, you know what I'm saying, that I was dealing with there. But I was just trying to, because basically they call me a Shiite Rasta or something like that, yeah. But I'm a historian, innit? So if I'm studying Islam, yeah, say if I'm studying Christianity, I can't just go with what the Catholics say. I've got to listen to the Protestants as well. Yeah. Then I've got to put both informations together and decide, well, go on. You understand? Like, it's the same thing if you're studying Rasta. You can't just study Fyabinghi. You have to find out what the Boba Shanti Rastas are doing.
See what makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, you have to understand the different systems. So that's the same thing with Islam. Shia does exist. And they have what they say is historical text. So I had to look at both of them and, you know what I'm saying, understand, like, because I can't reason with you if I don't understand what you're on. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you clock, yeah, at Speaker's Corner, most man, when they come to man about Rastafari, they don't know anything about it. Like, but it's not the same when I'm coming to man about Islam. I've heavily studied the thing. I've heavily studied the religion to the point where I can quote, like, the Christians say only they will go to paradise. The Jews say only they will go to paradise. Tell them to show you proof. If you're a doer of good and you submit to Allah, you have nothing to fear. But if you look in the Hadith, it shows you that who does Allah love the most? The one who looks after the creation. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a doer of good, you get me, and you look after the creation, you have nothing to fear. That means I'm safe. I lie?
Okay.
That means you're safe as well, my brother. That means everyone out there that's doing good is safe. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I had to study, I had to read the Quran from start to finish to get that verse and the other verses that I've learned. So I've had to learn your religion. I've had to learn, I was raised in Christianity, so there's nothing learning that. Like, I've had to learn about Hinduism and not from a Islamic Christianity perspective, oh, they worship enough God. I've had to look at Hinduism from a Hindu perspective. So I've had to learn about Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and how Brahma represents, it's like science, so Brahma represents the creator, you understand? Vishnu represents the preserver, yeah? And Shiva represents the destroyer. So that's the cycle of life, bro. Because it's creation, preservation, and destruction, and that's the cycle of life. So what the Hindus was doing there is they was using the principles to describe the cycles of life, you know what I'm saying? I've got to study, you know, the Sikhs, you know what I'm saying? God is light, you know what I'm saying? But like, these are stuff, yeah. These are definitely stuff that I've done. So when I'm speaking at Speaker's Corner, I'm not speaking from, if I speak about Hinduism, I'm not speaking from a Rasta perspective.
Okay.
Or if I'm speaking about it, that's why I say that this is why they get confused when I say I'm everything. You know what I'm saying? Because the true essence of all of these religions is the same. Do you get me? Like, the true essence. If you take away the actual religious beliefs and you just deal with the principles, We are just dealing now with the principles of the religion, the things that make them, the morality and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Bro, which one of them is different? You wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
So in that same debate, now what man's getting at is
Ganja artists and that.
Yeah, them thing there is like not
and gang and all of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not one specific thing. It's like it's man's debate method, innit? Yeah. Like when it comes to, I feel like that's man's taking digs at man personally, or they ain't got nothing to do with. They ain't got nothing to do with the information you're presenting.
Bro, it started.
You get me?
Adnan and Mansour are the two for that. You get me? Like, bro, every debate I've had, with my Muslim brothers, Hussein, remember I had a debate with Hussein, Shamsi and Anwar, Mansour and Adnan, and all four of them, sometime, reference to ganja.
Yeah.
Mansour called me a ganja artist.
But worse than that though. Worse than that. Not just only they call man a ganja artist. He said, man. He said you might smoke ganja, and then he went on to say crack and heroin.
Yeah, bro.
As if it's the same thing. You get me?
Bro, and he's a pharmacist. He says he's a pharmacist.
Yeah. Someone's to know.
Yeah, but you remember
the extreme differences between.
Yeah, you should know. You should know that it's a herb and a plant. You understand? But this is the demonization. This is what man are doing. Like if you look at Adnan's debate, he's like he tried to paint man like a racist.
Yeah.
That's what his goal was. You understand? And Mansour's goal was to paint man like a crackhead. Now, no one point have I tried to paint anyone at Speaker's Corner with any tarnish, bro. You get me? I'm not doing that. I'm not stooping to their level. But the thing is, I'm not stooping to these man's levels though. You understand? Because even when man's calling man, and the thing is, there's different ways you can say stuff. Because in the debate with Anwar and Shamsi, Anwar asked me, what food do you like? You get me? And then Shamsi said, ganja. But that's more of a joke though. If you check out the way he said that, that's more of a joke. But the way Mansour called man a ganja artist is like he's trying to diss man. And the worst
thing... He said he came from a malicious place.
Yeah. Even Adnan's debate, he was coming from a malicious place, blood. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really like them energies there, but I've got to realize that those energies are out there. And Adnan and Mansour and people like that are there for me to become a better person. Okay. Like they're there as like
they're testing man, testing your faith.
Yeah. So next time, like anytime I'm like now, I'm more powered up. You get me? Last time in the Adnan debate, I got a bit passionate. You understand? And like I didn't even rate that about myself.
What happened with the Adnan debate now?
Cause when we're talking about race, bro, I get passionate, bro. So like you got an Asian man telling me that blacks was killing blacks, but he takes no, he's not taking no acceptance for the Arab slavery, which was much worse to us as an actual nation.
Okay.
You understand? Like he's calling the Hutus and the Tutsis racism. This is the level, and he's meant to be educated. But am I gonna call the Shiites and the Sunnis when they're warring racism? Is that racism? When Asians beef Asians, is that racism, bro? It's not racism, is it? So how can he stand there and say the Hutus and the Tutsis prove that black people could be racist? And then you had the ginger white you know the ginger white you, the nose, your cousin Biggs. You had him saying, black people are racist. Caribbeans and Africans don't like each other. So now, you're sitting there. You got Asians, you got whites, you got blacks, and then you got an Asian Muslim and a white Muslim, and they're telling you about Hutu and Tutsi being racism, and African versus Caribbean being racism, and both of them are leaving the fact out that it's the Europeans that created those wars in between these people. You understand? They're leaving that out. They don't want to put that in. But they're so vocal.
Forget about the cause, just focus on the symptom.
They're so vocal about saying it, and it just blows my mind, bro, because you got black people there, and the black Muslims ain't saying that. So why does it have to be a white guy and an Asian guy to do their races so bad? And highlight the fact that, like, some people will never understand. Like, you're actually trying to demonize my culture, bro. And I don't even think the white even was meaning like any harm. I feel like he genuinely believed that Caribbeans and Africans not liking each other is form of black racism. But yeah, the sick thing about that, bro, is the whole debate, none of them couldn't point to black people being racist to white people or Asians.
Okay. Yeah. So what? What's his name? Adnan. Adnan accused Callum and Sarah and them of being the black KKK. And I interviewed Callum.
That's character assassination, man. Black KKK hanged black people. Like, this is what I'm saying.
That's the same thing I said.
This is get me mad. Like, fam, these sort of like comparisons, bro, they upset me. You know what I'm saying? Because the KKK hanged black people. They killed black people. How can you compare them to some people in the park that are talking about melanin and science and discuss? Like, how are you gonna compare them? How can you compare them to KKK? You can't even compare the Black Panther Party to KKK, and they killed feds in self-defense. The Black Panther Party to self-defense, you can't even compare them because they was there to defend their communities. They weren't going to white communities and lynching white people or nothing like that. They was there to defend their communities against police brutality. And you can't even compare them. So how are you going to compare to some people in the park? You get me, debating about, talking about how melanin and all of these things. How are you going to compare them to the KKK? It don't make no sense, fam. And this is what I'm saying. This is character assassination. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. If I was Muslim, yeah, and like, sometimes I got to put myself in people's shoes, innit? If I was Muslim, yeah, and these man was coming with these debates, yeah, I would just say to these man, like, this is why I don't, like, put my life on a book. Because I would say to these man, like, yo, like, I'm spiritual, innit? I'll be praying, you get me? I pray my 5 times a day. I get close to God, you get me? I live my life, innit? Whatever you man find in the book, you get me, that you man don't like, you get me? And that, like, I might not like it as well, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not, like, a man wrote the book, innit? Some man, I know you believe it's divine and no one's changed it. But then, if you're gonna say that, then you've got to defend everything that's in it. And you can't get upset when people say to you, yo, this hadith says this, and it's from Bukhari, and I don't agree with this. Like, if you said, like, there's hadith rejectors, you know, so you can't come at them with no hadith. Even the Shiites, you can't come at them with certain, like the Aisha hadith, because they don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different schools of thoughts within Islam. I just feel like if they stand, like if you stand on your spirituality, you get me, then you can debate about the knowledge, but then you know that no matter what happens, you've still got your own, you know, your own spirituality. But I feel like people are getting upset with what the information that the man them are coming with. You know what I'm saying?
So what's stopping you from following suit and attacking man's character rather than talking about the information? I don't know, maybe you plan
those
to.
Things I read earlier, you know, those laws, bro, like those spiritual laws. I'm trying to be the best person that I can be, you know, bro. That's what I'm going for, bro. So really and truly, when Adnan and them's doing it, I can't judge them, innit? Because, like, it's between me and God, innit? I can't like obviously not no fake God concept, like that's real spiritual essence, yeah. But like, say if there was a paradise and a judgment day, I can't go to God and say, yo, God, Adnan was really annoying me that day. Or Manson was, you think the Muslims can go and say, yo, Sarah was saying this and that?
You saying from your act out of place?
From you act, that's you, bro. Because you don't know from your own thing that, you know what I'm saying, that you're being tested. You know what I'm saying? So pass the test. And you don't know from your own thing that you're meant to seek knowledge to the ends of the earth. And even if you don't agree with all of the information, you can't say the man them are talking all foolishness. You got to deal with some of the facts. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to, but like me, I just feel like for me, me at the park, like I'm on this common ground thing. So I'd rather, like when I reason with the Christians, yeah, I'll be there reasoning with the Christians, you know, like white boy Chris. You know, Chris, chubby white boy. And then like the 7-day Adventist black guy. And then like there's an elderly white lady that normally rolls to the gang. She never goes on the camera though, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'll roll up to them now and I'll be having some sick reasoning about like, you know, how our body's a temple. You know what I'm saying? And how, you know, we're children of the Creator and rare tear tear, yeah? Then I'll roll over to my Muslim brothers, like, you get me? And I'll have a sick reasoning about like, you know, like the strength of Bilal, or you know what I'm saying, the spirituality or whatever, then I roll up to Ty, the Hebrew Israelite, and you know what I'm saying, I get 1-2 wisdoms from the elder over there. You know what I'm saying? Learning the true name of God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. And then I roll over to my Kemet, like, you get me? And we're reason about Kemet and information, and you get me?
You saying respectable to everyone when you're
Bro,
debating?
it's just a love thing, bro. Like, well, I don't like no one can't really like if my thing's true, if I'm true to myself, then no one's thing can't obstruct me in it. You know what I'm saying? I've only got to be true to that voice inside. Like everyone else outside, like I'm talking to you now, the person behind, yeah. I'm telling you, don't listen to Raspect. Listen to that voice, yeah, inside your heart. Like sometimes you have to sit in meditation and silence to hear it, yeah. But everyone else, the kids, yeah, they're real. Anyone that's saying something that's different from that, they're jackasses, man. So I follow that, innit? I don't really worry about like what everyone else is thinking. Like all of my friends could leave me today, like for me being me, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like my friends, like we're all the same, innit? We're on that oneness. You know what I'm saying? And then what's happening now is people from all over the world are contacting man. You know what I'm saying? And telling man, yo, Ras, like your spiritual energy, like Muslims, Sikhs, you get me? Christians. Everyone's getting that, man. And the thing is that I don't do the messaging thing, so I'll just make my WhatsApp man the number. You get me? Then I'll have like a half an hour conversation with this one or 45 with this, like, you know what I'm saying? And we're just like reasoning about life and trying to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? And one thing is you can learn more from the fool than you can learn from the wise more time. You know what I'm saying? Because from the wise, you learn what to do, but from the fool, you learn what not to do.
Okay. All right then, fam. We're going to get into some of the questions from the viewers now still. The first one is from Pence1. And it's ain't even a challenge still. It's ain't even a question, it's a challenge. He says, can you go a minute without smiling? Man, I say, you're ever happy, fam?
Yo, you know, I always show people, yeah. I show them like there's a rich white man somewhere. Yeah. Rich, stinking rich. He's got bills, but he's never got a smile on his face. Cause he's worrying about his money, and he's worrying about he can't trust his family and his will, and you get me. Like a lot of rich people are not happy, bro. Like if you really check the science, they're on drugs and all of them things. There. Not to say there's not rich people that are happy, but I'm saying like there's rich people out there that are not happy, bro. Yeah, and then I got some brothers in Gambia. These man carve out, like, do carving and that, yeah. And you would call them poor, you know what I'm saying? And every day when the sun rises, these men are smiling, you know, fam. These men are sharing their food out of one bowl. Yeah, these times the rich man's got a buffet, and he eats a piece of chicken, he don't even like it, because he got so much, and these men are eating out of one bowl, and they're happy. From sunrise to sundown. They're happy. Now tell me, yeah, 50 years time, yeah, imagine if the rich man lives like that and the poor man lives like that. And the poor man lives every day happy, and the rich man lives every day like angry or frustrated.
Stressed out.
Yeah. In 50 years, who's lived a better life?
Come on, man, the happy man.
Come on, so that's why I always gotta be smiling then, innit?
Say no.
I gotta live good, man.
All right then. The next one is from Mr. Ski 80. He asks, how do you feel about the way Amana Sarah debates Muslims? I feel you kind of addressed that already still, but
yeah, I kind of addressed that still. Like, okay, let me talk from two different places, yeah. As Raspect, who Raspect Fyabinghi is, yeah. My personal spiritual order and the way I was raised and everything, like I'm very respectful to like people's religions, you know what I'm saying? So that's not Raspect's way, yeah? But Sarah has had a whole different experience. He's coming from a whole different place. You know what I'm saying? So there might be something that Raspect does that Sarah wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like, obviously I've said this time after time, you get me? Like, I do feel like Like, I don't. But the reason why I don't want to talk on this because it's like me talking, telling a man what to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I can't tell a man what to do, and I see in the comments like certain people be like, "Yo, Ras, like, oh yeah, Sarah needs to take a leaf out of your book." Like, don't do all of that, man, because like that's a division thing. Yeah. Like, I'm not in this. Like, they'll say, "Oh, content over everything." Yeah, yeah, you're big. Oh, this about Titans TV. Don't create division. Content over everything and Titans TV. They're brothers. So I beg people just let man be brothers. And don't try to create divisions. You understand? It's the same thing with Sarah. Like even if say if I had a problem with Sarah, yeah, I didn't like Sarah. Sarah done something to annoy me. I still wouldn't be on this channel. I still wouldn't be on YouTube or at Speaker's Corner talking about Sarah. I'd have to deal with that personally with Sarah. You know what I'm saying? For example, like even the as a Rasta man, I have to quickly say this thing because even someone asks about the acting that he used to do. You understand? And even when I spoke to Sarah, I said, "Yo, brother, if me and you was brethren at that time, me and you would have fell out." I said that to Sarah on the phone. I said, "Yo, me and you would have fell out." And you know what Sarah said to me? He said, "The rest I would have fell out. If that was me now, I would have fell out myself too." I was like, "Alright, cool." Right, you know what I'm saying? Right, so, say if there was a brother who was doing something that at the park and it was something that I didn't agree with, I'm gonna deal with that with the brother. Okay. Personally, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be, Sarah, this and so. Like, that's a dickhead thing as far as I'm concerned. You get me? Like, us as black people, we have enough divisions amongst us. You get me? And then, this is the next place. I don't like when my own people, like Kemet and that, like, or not Kemet, like, whatever, black people, say to me, "Oh, Ras, why are you being so nice to the Muslims?" Bro, do you know how many black Muslims there are? Like, okay, let's take other races out of it. Let's just deal with black people. You get me? Like, I've been to Gambia. Yeah, it's a Muslim country. You understand? So, like, the same way I'm going to deal with the Muslims in Gambia is the same way I'm going to deal when I'm speaking about Islam, innit? So, when I'm defending Islam, you have to understand, I'm not defending the Adnans and them man there. I'm not defending their philosophy. Like, there's many interpretations of Islam, and I genuinely believe there are interpretations like the one that Malcolm X had, yeah, that can be extremely positive if used correctly. Like, so I haven't got no beef with that. You know what I'm saying? I even believe, when I say, "Oh, I'm a Muslim," well, I believe that Africans were the first people to submit to one God. You understand? So by that effect, by that definition, you get me, Africa was the first place where, you know, Muslims were, even before Islam came into being. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm not gonna divide I can't divide in it myself, innit? Like, I've got to take each individual as they come. Like, I know certain people that say they deal with Rasta and say they deal with Kemet. And bro, I'm telling you right now, bro, yeah, they're not worth 2 cents because they're not applying none of the knowledge. They just got an anchor around their neck, a little kufu on their head.
Yeah.
You know them guys there, and they say, "Yeah, black power," but they ain't about that. And then you got some humble Muslim act, he's in the full thing, and he's just on some praying, and he's humble, and you can feel it from his spirit, and he's a Muslim. So them times there, if I'm gonna pick who to roll with, bro, I'm gonna pick the Muslim, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time as well, some of my Gambian Muslim bros, but like, them man are deeply spiritual, and they've still got the African culture. And this is all I'm trying to really bring back for my Muslim brothers. That's the only issue, the main issue I have with Islam is, if you're Arab and you're Muslim, then your culture and your religion is already combined. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you're Arab and you're Muslim, your culture and your religion is already combined. If you're African and you're Muslim, you still have to get your foundation of your culture. You still have to educate yourself about Marcus Garvey. You have to educate yourself about Malcolm X. You have to educate yourself about Dr. Ben, John Henrik Clark. You still have to educate yourself on your culture, understand the roots of your culture, understand Kemet, understand Kush, understand the different African civilizations, and only then do I believe that you'll be able to be a true Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? So,
All right. The next one is from Incline Bruh. And he asks, "I don't want to be referred to as a kafir. And in brackets it says, is it because it's associated with hellfire? In which case, then you should become a Muslim. And then he goes on to say, it seems you want to take the good from Islam and leave what you don't like.
100%. Yeah, I take all the good from Islam and I can't take anything else because I'm a Rasta man all my God, so I can't take no man. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the kafir thing, someone tried to call me a kafir, you get me? And for me, it's like, it's like if you know history, like you can't call man that, innit? If you know what man's on, like man's so spiritual and on this thing, like a lot of Muslims, yeah, like they'll tell man, like, Ras, you're more Muslim than Muslims. What Muslim accent, like Muslim people will tell me, yo Ras, you're more Muslim than Muslim. So like you can't call, so this whole kafir thing is like, Muslims need to have to understand there's a statement within Islam, yeah, and they say Allah knows best, yeah. And I think Muslims should use that a lot more than they use it, fam. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's a kafir. You get Muslims saying this one's not a Muslim. You can't tell a man he's not a Muslim. What the hell is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got people making these judgmental statements, but Allah knows best, innit? The Most High knows best. Leave that out, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and the hellfire thing, there'll be no hellfire for me. It doesn't even exist in the way you think it exists. Hellfire. Hellfire is for pedophiles and rapists. That's what hellfire is for. That's what it's created for. You understand? Because they're going to sow what they reap. So a pedophile made someone burn their whole life. You get slave masters. People burn their whole life. So then they're going to go into an eternal hellfire. You understand? Even when you check the concept of hellfire, if you go back to the Jewish thing, there's not even a concept like that. You understand? It came through Christianity, and if you look at the earliest Christianity, you had something called purgatory. You understand? So hellfire was a thing that, like, it was used. If you was wicked and you went to hell, it was for a certain amount of time. It wasn't forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and eternity. And so and it never stops. Cause that concept is evil. Like any Christian and Muslim out there, I'm telling you, they people's leaving the religion and they put that thing in to scare man to stay in the religion. You understand? That is where this whole eternal, like that's something you tell a child. I lie, my brother. Like that's something you tell a child, like, oh, if you don't do this, you're gonna burn forever and ever and ever. They don't even say for 100 years. They don't even say for 20,000 years. They say forever and ever and ever and ever. And why are you gonna burn? Because you didn't believe something. And it's not like it was clear what to believe. You know what I'm saying, fam? It's not like it was clear. So if you look at the earliest thing, this is why the changing of words in the Bible is so important. Because the earliest Bibles said that the wicked would be thrown into an eternal fire. Yeah, that's what the earliest Bibles said. You understand? Now, the newer Bibles say the wicked will be thrown into fire eternally. It sounds the same, but it's two completely different meanings. Because one is saying that the actual fire is eternal, but it's not saying the time in the fire is eternal. You understand? And the other now is saying that you're actually going to be in the fire forever. So this is where changing of the Bible has really affected, you know, people's interpretations of the Bible. And I feel like that's deliberate.
Yeah. Cool. The next one's from Adam Malik. He asks, stick to one religion. He says, what do you believe? You seem to believe in everything. And then he goes on to ask, as a Rasta, do you respect Sarah's actions as a bisexual in a movie? Even though you already addressed that still.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Stick to one thing. Well, I'm everything, innit? When I'm talking to a Muslim and he's telling me about the fasting and the praying and that, like, obviously my empress, she was fasting the same time I fasted a little bit as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are good things. When there's hadiths in Islam that say, if you see an oppressor, you know what I'm saying, raise your hand and stop the oppressor. And if you can't raise your hand and stop the oppressor, then speak out boldly against the oppressor. And if you can't speak out boldly against the oppressor, then protest in your heart. But protesting in your heart is the weakest and poorest forms of protest. Now that quote there, I love it. And I got it from a Muslim.
That's big still.
So like that's a part of me. You understand, fam? Like, but that applies if Muslims are the oppressors as well.
Yeah.
You understand? So you come to my country, you're trying to, then obviously I'm gonna raise my hand. You get me? Even, you know what I'm saying? So like, but that is such a beautiful quote. Now I'm gonna go to the Hindus and get the Brahma, Vishnu, creator, preserver, destroyer concept, and that concept is beautiful. Like I love that concept. You understand? Even then they say they worship the people with 4 arms and that represented like omnipresence and all of that. So I love the art of how they've tried to describe it. Buddha's quotes are like sick. Like the parables of Jesus, bro, like if you really go into that Yashua story, like take out the religion thing from it and take out all bro, he's a don. He was a don, but he told them about the Good Samaritan. What did he say? He said there was a man on the floor and he was basically hurt. You understand? The priest with the right religion passed him, yeah, and he didn't help him. He was promised hellfire. The rabbi with the right religion passed him and didn't help him. He was promised hellfire. You understand? But the Samaritan, which was not from the right faith, this means that he didn't believe the right thing. This means that he didn't come from the right religion. But his actions was right. And he helped the man. And ways he helped the man, he was promised paradise. You understand? So stuff like that is beautiful. I can't leave it. I can't leave the Psalms. I can't leave the Proverbs. But I definitely factually know, and we all know, that Kemetic knowledge predates all of this. And we know that Moses learned all of the ways of Egypt. Yeah? So if we know that, when I'm reading the Kemetic thing and some of those laws that I read to you lot earlier, yeah? Like, you have to say as a Muslim that certain of them hit you hard. You have to say as a Christian certain of them hit you hard. You have to say as an atheist. As an atheist, you're going to say in the comments, I'm an atheist, but yeah, I heard those spiritual laws. Because it's deep, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's real and it applies to all of us. You understand? So that's why people feel like I'm saying everything. And
why do you feel that it's even a problem for someone like I think you put with an exclamation mark, like stick to one religion. Like man's angry that you're taking what you consider to be good things from various different sources.
Yeah, it's because I can't be controlled. It's because I don't know, bro. I don't, because I believe, yeah, my Muslim brothers, yeah, genuinely believe that their brother Raspect, if he doesn't become Muslim, is going to burn in eternal hellfire. Like, that's what a lot of my Muslim brothers genuinely believe themselves. I've got to show them Rasta's alright, man. Rasta's alright, don't worry about me, man. Just do the work to the lost brothers on the road. And the brothers that need it. Yeah. No, I see some brothers that have come out and Islam has definitely helped them, bro. I know certain man that was banging guns 10 times a day and they only bang guns 1 time a day now. So, like, you get me?
You see the guy in the right direction.
Yeah, the guy in the right direction, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say everything's negative, but there is definitely an Arab influence. Like we had black Muslims at the park the other day, yeah, say that they would not practice black group economics. Bro, the Arab does this naturally. And when you go to the Arab shops, bro, how many of them are employing you black Muslims? How many of them? How many Arab shops have you gone into where they're employing you black Muslims? How many Asian shops? How many Chinese shops have you gone to where they're employing you blacks?
It's rare still.
You understand?
I ain't gonna say what it don't happen.
No, it definitely does happen somewhere.
It's extremely rare.
Yeah, but
whenever I see it, I notice it. It's that rare.
You get me? You get me? So where, and they're not wrong, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
Arabs, Asians, Chinese, they're not wrong because they're
look
living
after
in a
your family,
system
fam.
Where, but it's like black Muslims, they're not allowed to do that. Some of them, not all of them, because there was the next black Muslim that came out to me and said, no, I understand that.
Yeah.
You understand? But those black Muslims that in their head, they're not allowed to think like that. Like that's haram. No, that's not haram, bro, because charity starts at home. You understand? And looking after your family is important.
You know what I feel it's partly to do with as well? Because whenever I go to like a shop, like a Caribbean market or something, I say a Caribbean market, a place that's designed for Caribbean people, like that's the demographic that's targeted, where we need to get our food back from back home, you hear me? I hardly see any Caribbean people selling the food, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's like our money is going out of our community.
From the hair shops.
And they're from hair shops
to the food
shops. Anything, fam.
What's that? There's our next.
Turtle Bay.
Yeah, Turtle Bay. Come on, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro. We're not allowed to have this conversation. Because if we as black people talk about these things, now we're racist. And I say bun all of them, blood.
So,
I practice
man don't care, fam. Man just being observant, innit? I'm saying what I see, fam.
Come on,
as I said, fam, what seems to be the trend is that anytime it's time for us to go and spend our money for something that we require specifically, it's not even stuff that everybody's getting on a whole. It's like specific to black people, that stuff that we need, our food, what we eat. The hair shops and all them things that's specifically for us. And it's not our own. It's not our own pee.
And Arabs and Asians know, you know, bro. Even their children know. Because when I was in year 7, yeah, I must have been busting one joke, yeah, and I was like, you Asians, yeah. I was like, you know why Asians ain't good at football? Because anytime you get a corner, you build a shop. You get me? The whole class
I heard that one.
Yeah, the whole class is busting up now, innit? You get me? And then the Asian looked to me and he said, "What have you got?" And then the whole class just went silent, bro.
Yeah.
Do you get me? And me and him had to fight because like, I didn't have a comeback. You know what I'm saying?
You know
what that meant? That meant that all of the Asians, the Arabs, the white people in that class knew that black people ain't got shit. It meant that they all knew. Because if it wasn't true, everyone would have laughed and carried on. But bro, it went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. You understand? So they know what we've got to do. You know what I'm saying? So we can't, like, that's the only problem that's one of the main problems I see with black people becoming Muslim without a sense of self is they like you might just get caught up in another man's culture. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's good at all, man.
Well, this ties in good to the next question that a viewer asked. It's from Saki97. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. They ask, do you think you will be leaving your African roots / religion to follow an Arab religion if you become Muslim? Is that what's stopping you from becoming Muslim, as you seem to have a lot of knowledge on the Quran?
No, like this is why I say I am Muslim. No, but nah. Okay, say I didn't know all of the knowledge that I've picked up, yeah, because like I'm a man. I research no less than 6 hours a day. You get me? So I'm always researching, always trying to get knowledge in it. Okay, let's say I didn't know what I knew, yeah, and Islam was the first religion I've come across, yeah, and boom, yeah. For me, yeah, that would be an issue. Like, especially because of things that I see in it, I'm watching other people in it. So if black Muslims are on some, you know, productive build up their community thing, like as a group, I'm not saying there's not individual black Muslims that are like that, but as a group, if I saw them about that and, you know, about their people on a whole, because sometimes even like, this is an interpretation, but sometimes when you become Muslim, if you got the wrong interpretation, you see anyone that's not Muslim as, you know, not your brother, or you get me, or, you know, below you, and like we feel it when we're talking to you. You know what I'm saying? So when someone's got that ideology, I kind of feel it and I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that would stop, man. But if I was to become Muslim, like the first place I'm going into the Nation of Islam to say my shahada.
What are you saying? Keeping a black culture?
Nation of Islam. Are you mad? Are you mad? Nation of Islam is where I got. You get me? And when I deal with their science, you get me, car. I like the Nation still, on one quad. You get me? I would have been in the Nation, like, but obviously I'm an avid like Malcolm X and Khalid Muhammad fan, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And obviously both of them got kicked out of the Nation. So I said it's better if I just be bridges with the Nation. Okay. It would be better if Malcolm X and Khalid just was bridges with them, man. Then they would have been alright. But when they joined and then left, that created a tension. You get me? But Khalid Muhammad and Malcolm X, bro, they was like, I'd say, like, from my opinion, bro, they was two of the best that the Nation ever had and probably will ever have. You get me?
Of course, true.
And that goes into the ancestors, bro. Man's got to remember man's ancestors. When people start, you know what, yeah, all of you out there in the comments, overstand, yeah, when you're dissing Sarah's ancestors, dissing my
all of our ancestors as well.
You get me? Bro, Hussein, my brother Hussein, I love you, you know? I love you off. But, bro, don't do the ancestor dissing thing, because you're dissing your ancestors. You're dissing Bilal. Yeah. You're dissing the Nagashi.
All ancestors means is the ones that came before you, innit?
Do you get it? Like, and black people, we can all agree on our ancestors. We can all agree on Marcus Garvey. We can all agree on Malcolm X. We can all agree on Martin Luther. We can all agree on Dr. Ben. We all agree Yeah, we just don't agree with some of them are just more important to us than others. So you'll get people that are more into Marcus Garvey and they'll run with that. You've got people that are more into Dr. Ben and they'll run with that. But like our ancestors are they're righteous freedom fighters and warriors that came before us and allowed for us to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like it's very spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no hocus pocus, some guys in the, this is real. When man say, man reasoned with my ancestors, bro, all you gotta do is listen to a Marcus Garvey speech. And as that speech starts coming back in your head, that's you reasoning with Marcus Garvey, because that's the word. Those words are now resonating. You know what I'm saying? So the ancestors, yeah, like I don't like when people diss the ancestors. I can't lie, like our ancestors have been through enough. You understand? And one thing I definitely don't like is when black people be dissing their own ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So my brother who's saying, stop that ancestor. You might not like putting out no food and that. I don't put out food either. You get me? But there might be a science behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I ain't learned that science yet. You know what I'm saying? But man, definitely pour libation for my ancestors, and man, definitely give thanks to my ancestors every day. Every day I give thanks that they fought the fight. And if they didn't fight the fight, bro, Hussein wouldn't even be Muslim. You wouldn't even be here to be Muslim. How about that? You wouldn't even been here to go jail to learn Islam. You understand? So give thanks for your ancestors if you're black, man. You get me? And if other people from your races, give thanks for your ancestors. In Asia, give thanks for your ancestors. If you're Chinese, give thanks for your ancestors. Even you Europeans, bro, give thanks for your ancestors, to the small minority of them that fought against slavery and that. Those guys were all right, man. Like, we'll have a little fish and chips with them, man, or whatever. A little pie and a lager, packet of crisps, bro. Those ancestors are all right, innit? You get me? And obviously, as a black man, I love my culture, but I love it when I see Indians out in their saris. Yeah. You get me? Because it's something different from my own culture. I love it when the Chinese are out in their thing and they're doing their kung fu. You get me? British culture, man. I'll have a little fish and chips on a Sunday. Yeah, we'll have a little fish and chips with some Ice ketchup. Yeah, that's British culture, innit? So you get me? So there's things from every culture that, you get me? But obviously my culture's my foundation, innit? I'm not taking the next man's culture. I can appreciate your culture without having to assimilate to it. You understand? I might adopt principles that I think are positive, you understand, but I don't have to assimilate to it.
Most definitely. But all right then, fam. Well, that's all the questions, man, listed still. Just anything you want to say, you want to address the audience, them yourself, any message you want to get out there?
Yeah, basically, like, obviously, I'm always learning and growing, innit? So I might have said something in this today, and in 2 years' time, I might be looking back here and say, yo, Ras, see what you said there, that weren't right. Or, you get me? But this is where I'm at now, innit? You know what I'm saying? So my advice to everyone is just like follow truth, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like let's try to get rid of the ego. Like that's the core of all of these spiritual faiths. You know what I'm saying? Getting rid of ego. And I feel like you can't be like Rasta, you can't be Kemet, you can't be Muslim if you're not trying to like be the best spiritual being that you can be, like, you know what I'm saying? And with that comes humbleness. You know what I'm saying? That comes, you know what I'm saying, understanding, that comes compassion. These are very important parts to spirituality. That don't mean man have to be a pushover. Cause if man put one hand, then you know, man already said touch one in the army, 10 die. You know what I'm saying? So that don't mean man have to be a pushover. Man will always fight for man's rights, but if it's not a physical situation, showing compassion, showing love, all of these things, it don't cost money, innit? It don't cost you nothing, innit? And sometimes, you get me, like what I've learned recently, like this is something that I've gone through recently, innit? I've learned that, like, in order to be the best person I can be, like, swallowing my pride is a big part of it, man. It's a big part of it. Sometimes you gotta let a man think he's right, and you just gotta shut up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta just, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's all science, innit? Sometimes when you're dealing with someone, you know what I'm saying? Say if you're having a conversation, like, you might be saying stuff and you can see it's rubbing the person the wrong way. Now, if you're actually having that conversation to get through to that person, then you're gonna change how you're saying what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? In order to, you know, fit that, you know, in order to fit that person. But at the same time, you can't water down what you're doing. But my main message to the people then is just stay true and stay real. You get me? And stay on love, because love is the core. Like, God is meant to be the greatest love, in it. You get me? Allah, they say, is the most merciful. That means that Allah's mercy is bigger than any mercy that I can imagine in my human head. You understand? So if I can see it will be merciful, if I can see like it will be merciful if, you know, everyone didn't burn forever and ever, then I'm sure you can see that Allah put that inside me and you. And I'm going to leave it on like, the main thing for us as like, as spiritual beings or human beings or divine beings, whatever you want to call yourself, to really concentrate on, yeah, spiritually is love. Like, not no soppy love, not no walkover love, you get me? Car when a child's gonna touch the fire, a mum's gonna slap his hand. But why did she slap his hand? She slapped his hand out of love, because she's trying to protect him. So I just feel like a holistic vision of like the real love, not no like no. When I'm talking love, I'm not talking no soppy. Yeah, come give me a hug. And I'm talking some real fiery, strong. You know what I'm saying? Love. And I feel like that love, yeah. Once we've got that at the core, I'm telling you, we can all get on like a house on fire.
Most definitely, man. I respect Fyabinghi, fam. The realest, fam. I love that still. I love that.
We're there, man. We're there.
True stories. Man, we out, man. We out. Oh, yes, fam.
Yeah, you saying?
I'm large still.